So in this series, I'll be talking mostly about the counting. So there are various principles, laws and methods which are used for counting, right? So let's talk about the counting principle. We believe that counting is very easy, but as I told you earlier, sometimes the counting looks easy, but it is very tedious. And if you don't know the principles, the methods, or the laws, then it will be really difficult for you to count. So let's take an example, right? So here we have 8 by 8 grid squares, 8 by 8 grid with all squares, just like your chessboard. So let me ask you a very simple question, that what are the all possible squares in your chess board, right? So the first thing which comes to your mind is that, okay, there are 64 squares, right? Because you have seen that this is one square, this is second square, third square, and so forth till the third square. Then you start with 9, 10, and then like 16, and finally you reach to the conclusion that there are 64 squares. But if you pay a close attention to this chessboard, or let's say 8 by 8 grid, you will realize that this one is also a square which is of length 2, not 1, right? So as well as you will see here that there is another square which has the length 2, then there is another square which has length 2, then there is another square here which has length 2. Similarly, there are squares with of 3, so you can always find this, that there is a square with length 3 here, right? So if I ask you to count all the squares, right, it will be really difficult, because there are squares of 1, there are squares of 2, squares of 3. Similarly, there is a square, biggest square, which is of square 8, as you can see here, right? So how you are going to count the total number of squares in your chessboard? So there are squares of 1, there are squares of 2, squares of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and till 8, right? Now it is really, sometimes by simple counting you will not be able to count the total number of squares here, but by using the various principles, methods we will use in this session, you will be finally able to count all the squares in your chessboard. So let's get started. So there are 3 principles which I am going to talk about here. The first principle is multiplication principle. Right. So now let's try to understand what is a multiplication principle. I'll give you a very basic example, not a tough one, to get started. Okay. So let's say from city A to city C, and there is a city B there. Okay. So there are 4 ways from going from city A to B, or let's say there are 4 buses from going from city A to B, and there are 3 trains which are going from city A to C, right? So let's call this as a bus 1, this as bus 2, this is bus 3, this is bus 4. Now this is train 1, train 2, and train 3. Now if I ask you the question that how many ways you can go from city A to C, this is a very common thing which can happen to you in your life. So let's try to count all of this. So you can go from city A to city B via bus 1, and then you can take train 1, train 2, train 3. Now you can always go via city from city 1 to city B by bus 2, and then you can always take train 2, then you can take B2, T2, B3, T3. You can always go from A to B via bus 3, and then you can take train 1, train 2, T3, right? Now you can always take the bus 4 as well if you want, then you will have train 1, train 2 and train 3. So if you count all the options you have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you have total ways of reaching from city A to C is 12, right? Now how we explain this? Because in mathematics you need to explain each and everything, right? So we say that from A to B there are 4 ways or 4 buses. From B to C we have 3 ways or the 3 trains, right? So the total number of options which I have got is 4 into 3. 4 into 3. So which is equivalent to 12. So we have the 12 options here, right? So if you remember the Cartesian product which we have discussed earlier, it's more or less like the same. But and we have discussed a few words called and, or and not. So and in counting more or less is quite similar to, so and is similar to multiplication. So let's take few more examples to get accustomed to all these kind of things. So let's say we have this example where we say, okay, I flip we toss a coin, right? We toss a coin and then we throw a dice. So what are the possible outcomes, right? So if you toss a coin, then you have 2 possible outcomes, head and tail. Then if you throw a dice, then you have 6 outcomes, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So what are the total outcomes which we can have? This one will be head 1, head 2, head 3, head 4, head 5 and head 6. So you can also have tail 1, tail 2, tail 3, tail 4, tail 5 and tail 6. Now, so if you count all of these options, the outcomes, it will be again be 12. So we can also say that since tossing a coin has 2 outcomes, that is 2, and throwing a dice has 6 options, that is 6, we get the total number of outcomes is 12, right? Let's take, so now we can assert something from here, right? So let's try to write this down. So if we can assert that if we have n ways of doing something, or m outcomes for a particular thing, and n ways of the second outcome. Then there are total m into n ways of getting the outcome. So if we have n ways of getting first outcome, then we have n ways of getting second outcome. The total number of outcomes which can come here will be m into n. So I'll be giving you some basic examples. So let's try to count the all two digit numbers, right? So we can transform this problem into, we can always count it, like for example 10, 11, 12 and so forth till 99. These are all the 2 digit numbers, because 1, 2, 3 are not 2 digit numbers because they are single digit number. So you can count it and you can say that okay it is 90. But what about we have all 3-digit numbers, so it could be anything, right? 101, 102, 100, and so forth till 999. So how about this question that we need to count all let's say 8-digit numbers right? Now if you start writing all these numbers, it will be a big problem, because 4, 5, 6, 7, so we have 6, 7, 8 and so forth, till you reach here 9, 9, 9, 9, 4, 9, 5, 9, 6, 9, 7, 9, 8, 9. So you have to count all these numbers, right? So it is really difficult to count all these numbers, right? And if I put certain conditions that okay, the first digit will be all odd, or the second digit will be all even, or something like that, then it will be really difficult to count you all these numbers. So how we are going to do that, right? So as we said that if there are m ways of doing something, or there are m outcomes from a thing, and there are n ways of the second outcome, then the total number of outcomes could be m cross n, matlab m into n, m multiplication rule, right? So let's try to find this 2-digit number, right? So this can be done pretty easily if you look at it. So let's place 2 blank spaces here. This is 1, this is 2, right? Now look at the first digit. It cannot be 0, because if it is 0 then it is a single digit number. So how many ways you can fill this place? So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can fill this place by 9. But the second digit number could be 0 to 10. So it can be filled by 10 places. So if you multiply this, you will get 90, which is same as this. Now let's talk about 3-digit numbers, right? So again we draw 3 blank spaces, try to fill all the numbers. So if it is a 3-digit number, first digit cannot be 0. So basically it can be filled by 9 places, this can be filled by 10 places, this can be filled by 10 places. So the multiplication rule suggests that there are 900 3-digit numbers. Similarly, if we go for 8-digit numbers, right? So again by the same logic we will place 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it can be filled by 9, this can be filled by 10, 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 and henceforth all the other places can be filled by 10. So this will be equal to 9 into 10 to the power 7. So there are these many numbers, or you can say it is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the total number of count of only 8-digit numbers, right? So let's try to formalize this into a set, because we have learned a lot about the set. So we can formalize the whole thing into form of the set, and we can say this statement. So what it is, okay, let's try to see. So this is the final multiplication principle. Suppose there are n sets denoted by this, so we have to fill the n spaces, right? If elements can be selected from each set independently, then the number of ways one can select element from each set is given by multiplication of all of them. So this says simply, if they are we have to fill, let's say, n spaces, and each has an option of a1, a2, a3 and so forth till an, then the total number of ways this can be selected is a1 into a2 into a3 and so forth till an, right? So we have seen that in the various examples that if there are a1 ways of doing a particular thing, then we can do the a2 ways of doing something different. But all this set needs to be independent, right? So please mark the word called independent here, right? So what is this independently? So if sets are independently, then we can clearly say that this can be done into a1 into a2 into a3 into m. So for example here, the filling the first number is independent of filling the second number, is independent of filling the third number, and henceforth. So all are independent sets. So it has 9 elements, it has 10 elements, it has 10 elements, it has 10 elements, and so forth. So total number of the ways we can actually arrange these numbers are this, right? We will talk about the second principle. So this is more like an AND principle. So we can always say the multiplication principle, or we can write it as multiplication principle or AND principle. So whenever the word AND is used, you can be sure in counting that it could be more or less like multiplying the options, right? Multiplying the ways you have. So we say, if we have the statement here will be like, if you can go from A to B by a 4 ways, and from B to C you can go by 3 ways. So what are the total number of ways you can go from A to C? So here the word AND will come, so this is AND. So there are 4 ways, then there are 3 ways, so total number of ways will be 4 into 3, right? Now I am just trying to draw the concept of AND or not in this session, right, which we have learned in the earlier 2 sessions. But please note here, in counting, A and B is not equal to A intersection B, but it is more or less is the same as A Cartesian product B, right? Now let's take a look at the addition principle, the second one, right? So the second principle we will be discussing here is the addition principle. Or we can say it is an OR principle. So if you look at the word OR, then you can safely use the addition principle in counting, right? So for example, if I say from A to C, right, there are either 4 buses via which you can go. These are 4 buses, or you can go via 3 trains. This is A and this is C. So these are 3 trains, and there are 4 buses, B1, B2, B3, B4. So what are the possible ways of going from A to C? As I told you, OR is simply close to addition thing, so you can always count all these things and add this. So there will be total 7 ways. 4 plus 3, that will be equal to 7, right? We can take few more examples to understand the or the addition principle. So let's say we have let's look at it. So we have this 4 by 4 square, right? Now if we know that there are exactly 16 square of single square, then we have, let's say, 4 squares of double squares. So we can write that if we have to find the total number of squares, right? Total number of squares in this 4 by 4 grid. So we can say that, okay, this single square is 16, then double the square with the two sides are 4, square with the 3s, let's say it's 9, the square of 3s are 4, and the square with the 4 is 1. So we say that, okay, there are 16 squares of 1, then 9 squares of 2, or 4 squares of 3, I'll explain this how you can compute that, but for a statement we can take that 4 squares of 3 and or 1 square of 4. So the total number of ways that you can get the square is 16 plus 9 plus 4 plus 1. So it is 25 is 30, right? So now let's try to understand the meaning of OR in a proper set theoretical term. So if you remember the formula which we have done in the set theory, we have said that A union B is equal to A plus B minus A intersection C, A intersection B, right? Now, if you look here, that all the squares of 1 and all the squares of 2 are mutually exclusive. There are no common things, like, so this is a square of 1 but this is a square of 2. So these are independent, they are mutually exclusive. So A intersection B will be 0, right? So this will be 0. So what we get from A union B, what we will get for A union B is A plus B. Obviously it is the cardinality of it, right? So there is no common between the various options, so we use the word OR here and simply we add those two things to get our result.